Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Stay Grounded podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Q, and I'm super excited about today's solo episode 7 things that will help you avoid burnout. So, burnout is something that unfortunately is very close and dear to my heart because over the years I've experienced a lot of this, and so I started to really look in deeper to see what causes it, how can we avoid it, what things I can do to really get out of this, because when I get to that point, it means I'm overworking myself. So before we begin, I want to define what burnout is. And here's what I got. The best definition that I found. Burnout is the feeling of emotional, physical, and or mental exhaustion that happens as a result of overwork. Okay? Let me repeat that. Burnout is a feeling of emotional, physical, and or mental exhaustion that happens as a result of overwork. And so how can we tell if we're getting burnt out? What are the signs? And I'm going to break these down into mental, physical, and emotional signs. So let's start with mental. You begin to really have lack of interest in things. You are dreading any work. You have uncontrollable procrastination, which was a huge one for me. There's feelings of hopelessness and inability to cope with new challenges, which I also felt a lot. Physical. You have inconsistent sleeping habits. You just feel extremely exhausted. You have frequent health problems, and even your appetite changes. Now, emotional. Feelings of anxiety, depression, irritability, anger, and even chronic stress. Like, these are all emotional things. So it's not only one size fits all. Burnout can look and feel very different for everyone. And with these signs, what kind of things can cause this? What kind of things can cause burnout? Okay, well, one, it could be little, no control over your workload. Sometimes a lack of recognition after so much hard work is one of them. Unreasonable or overly demanding job expectations, or maybe they're not job expectations, but they're self-expectations if you're an entrepreneur and you have so much to do. High pressure work environments also don't help, and too much work, specifically when it leads to less time to do the things that you enjoy outside of this work that you have to do. So what do all these things have in common? Well, they're all related to work. This means you're just not doing things that bring you joy. It means that you're allowing work to be the forefront of your life. Okay, so now that we know what burnout is, the signs, the things that can cause it, what steps can we actually do to avoid it? And there are 7. I listed 7 because this is, research that I've done over the years and things that I've actually implemented myself. So let's get to it because the list is long. Okay, number 1. Schedule constant breaks. This was huge for me. I realized that when I start putting alarms on my phone, even if you're working in an office, guys, 10 to 15 minute breaks, it starts to make a difference. We're on our screens so often that our brains, eyes, mental, physical, they all need a break. And if it's hard for you to naturally take these small breaks, then use your phone as reminders. We're on our phones all the time. And I know that this may seem something so small, but it's those small things that get you to big places and big results. So scheduling your breaks, it allows you to prioritize yourself. And if your job's against this, guys, then maybe we need to start looking for another job. Because bosses are supposed to care about how you show up in the workplace. And you show up when you're nurturing yourself and you're taking breaks. My 9-to-5 job requires a lot of screen time. And let me tell you guys, my boss, she's the best. She pushes for mental health. So if your boss is not, then you know what you gotta do, as painful as it is. Number 2, you gotta set boundaries. That means with your job, your family, your friends, and most importantly, with yourself. If you schedule a day to do nothing but exist, you better do nothing and just exist. Because this sets the tone for yourself and everyone around you that you are not playing about these boundaries and about the way you show up for yourself. And another good boundary is setting up an end time for any emails, work, and calls. This one's hard for me because I always want to work, but I've learned that after 6, maybe 7, I don't do anything but exist. I don't answer anything. So yes, this isn't always possible, right? Because our jobs are all different and we do different things, but try to make it a non-negotiable. And then you'll start to see that the burnout that was coming up, it begins to slowly disappear because you've set these boundaries. Number 3, be in nature. Guys, Mother Earth is here to help us during our most chaotic times. It's here to ground us, to nurture us, to help us disconnect and reconnect. So use the sources that we have. Schedule a day to hike, a day in nature, or maybe if you can't go for a hike, go for a 15 to 30 minute walk. Maybe you go to park, maybe you have a painting session with your friends or by yourself. The more connected you are, the more disconnected from burnout you'll be. That was number 3. Number 4, make time for you. I want you to take a second, sit back, and answer this. When was the last time you actually took yourself to get a massage? Or took yourself out on a date? Or did something you enjoyed by yourself? I have no idea how often I stopped showing up for myself. And when I got close to burnout and went and did something for myself, I came back feeling so much better, rejuvenated, calmer, connected. So if you can't do a whole day, do 2 hours. If it's alone that you want to be at home, do it without interruption. And if it's hard, ask for help. We can't do all of this by ourselves. We need community. We need friends, family, associates to help us so we can keep going. Okay? Now we're moving on to maintaining healthy eating habits. One of the signs of burnout is a change in appetite. So step back and notice what you're eating. Does your diet consist of eating out more, eating junk, drinking sodas, alcohol excessively? If it is, I need you to start trading those things for good foods. Go make a home-cooked meal. Drink more water. That means that our body's asking for it. Maintaining good habits is really a sure way to lift your energy. And it also takes care of your body. This also helps with mental clarity, physical well-being, and emotional balance. So by really maintaining these healthy eating habits, you don't lose. I know they're hard, but start slow. Maybe drink more water throughout the day than you're used to. And then, if you're too busy for home-cooked meals, make sure that when you are eating, you're not eating McDonald's. You're not eating burgers. Maybe you want to trade up and go to Sweetgreens or go to a healthy spot, Make it so that it works for you. So we're getting down to the wire. Number 6. If you're close to burnout, I need you to go into your calendar right now. Not if you're driving. Please park the car first. But I need you to schedule a full day where you'll just sleep. You'll do nothing. Just sleep in. And this needs to be done in the next 2 weeks, guys, because if you're listening to this and you're close to burnout, it's bubbling up. And we can't function without proper sleep. And you think I'm kidding? Then don't do this, right? And see how you end up. Okay? Another recommendation, make a ritual out of your sleep. Maybe light a candle, disconnect from social media 30 days before bed, which is something I do. Disconnect from social media or my phone, period, 30 minutes before bed. I read a book. Maybe I listen to affirmations. I drink some tea. Obviously avoid caffeine. Do something like chamomile that will soothe, maybe mint. But set the tone for your sleep. Make it a beautiful ritual for yourself, because then you're going to get excited at night to disconnect, to not feel like you're on the phone, and you're just making a ritual out of you, your bed. Romanticize yourself. Okay? And last one, and this one's really, really important, and it took me a really long time to do this one. Ask for help. This is the last tip of advice that I have, and honestly, probably the most powerful. Ask for help. That can be your parents, your friends, your boss, your community, your partner, anyone you feel could help you with this process and understanding. We can't, and I learned this the hard way, guys, we can't do things alone all the time. I've tried it, and let me tell you, I failed. And then I noticed that once I started talking about my feelings of burnout in communities and to my friends, they help me. They help me center, they guide me, they put things in perspective for me, and sometimes we need that. We live in our heads all the time. So sometimes we just need to pull that out of us, and we need people that allow us to do that. And that doesn't make us weak. That makes us brave. Because if you're not used to asking for help and you do, and it helps, then it's the way you show up for yourself. And the people around you love you. They don't want to see you like that. because then again, you're not showing up for them either because you can't. You're so exhausted, you just can't show up. So these were the 7. I'm gonna repeat them just to finish off the episode. 1, schedule constant breaks. 2, set boundaries. 3, be in nature. 4, make time for you. 5, maintain healthy eating habits. 6, sleep. 7, ask for help. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you're going to find some time, because remember, you can listen to this all you want, but if you're not actioning, then you're not doing what you're supposed to, because everything comes with action. Everything, guys. There are going to be some resources below that you can read, and I'm actually going to put a affirmation meditation that I've personally recorded, so take a listen. Maybe you want to do this before bed, maybe you want to do it in the morning when you're feeling a lot. And of course, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for showing up, not only for listening to this podcast, but for showing up for yourselves, because this means that you're starting to take your shit serious, and the universe is going to compensate you for that. The universe is going to compensate you for showing up. So thank you so much for being here. I'm excited for the other episodes that are to come, so stay tuned. Bye, guys.